Hello, YouTube land, and welcome to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 13. Of course, I am one of your hosts, Dantes, and joining me, like always, the streaming master himself, Calones. How you doing, Calones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody out there? And I want to take some time during the podcast to set a couple of things straight. There's been some articles out there that have been claiming that Nintendo Switch actually had lower sales than they expected come Japan, but they're making it seem like people are not going out there to buy the system anymore. So I mean, once we discuss it during the news, I'll address it. But go ahead, Dantes.
Damn, Calones is guns are locked and loaded today to do some Nintendo damage control. No, I'm joking. But what have you been playing, Calones? How you doing? What have you been playing?
Well, yeah, just playing more Splatoon 2. I've been tackling a couple of games as well. I did a little bit of Monster Hunter. Here at the house. I mean, of course, it's Japan only, so just the demo version of it. It did come out on the 25th, so really excited to see how the sales of that one will do overseas. And just this weekend is going to be the arms, test punch, as well as well, just like I said, the Monster Hunter demo, and you have a couple of other ones that to look forward to. So yeah, just a little bit here, a little bit there. It's nice
So,
to have
so you've been
good games,
swimming on that Nintendo goodness, right? All those
and
sweet ass games.
yes, library has been improving, and it's really good.
So next week, you excited about Mario versus Rabbids?
Yes, can't wait to pick it up on the Wednesday. Well, on Tuesday, I'm sorry, and on the 29th. And I'm thinking, I mean, torn about maybe grabbing one of the figures. The figures are kind of expensive. They are 39.99 for this. I believe it's the 6-inch figures or so. But if
$40
you get,
for 6 inches? I don't think that's enough. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
but yeah. So other than that, if you get the game and you get one of those figures at GameStop, you can get the Mario hat. So I'm thinking about that.
Cool. I did reserve the game. Yeah, I decided to reserve it. See if I can play a little bit. Because I'm doing this show with my buddy, my pal Calones. I need to keep up to date with all the Nintendo news. So of course I reserved the game. I'll probably play a little bit, but admittedly, I've been playing non-Nintendo games. I've been playing Hellblade. Really good game. I think it's way better than those normal walking simulators that we have around. So at least they mix a little bit of combat in it, so it's not as boring as the others like Tacoma. I'm saying Tacoma is a bad game. I plotted the game. I'm just saying that there's walking simulators are great for story bursts and experiences, but sometimes you want a little bit more, and I think that's where Hellblade gives you a better balance. I did play a little bit of Sever on the Switch just to test it out and see if it flows and performs as good as the Vita, and I'm happy to say that it does. I think the screen feedback for the motion controls, or not the motion control, the touchscreen controls are really good. So if you played the Vita version or you never have played Sever, I really recommend it. Way better than the Wii U version for sure. So those are the two games that I've been playing. But Calones, are we ready? Let's do our rigmarole, shall we?
Yes.
I want to welcome everybody to the Get In, Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 13, every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy motherfuckers happy. Also, if you don't want to see our ugly faces, I got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there and show us some love. Also, remember, we have a small Facebook page called at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Calones. With all that said, Calones, are you ready? I repeat, Calones, Are you ready? For the no one in attendance, I got my background back, baby. And the three people washing around the well. Let's get ready for Reggie's News Center.
My body is ready.
11 pieces of articles. And well, before I continue, I want to say, hey, shout out to Randy. He's been a big supporter of Force In Unison. So thank you for supporting us and joining us on the live streamings and all of those. So Randy, shout out goes out to you.
So what
But
Calones means streaming
yes.
Wednesdays. If you want to play with Calones and have some fun with us, Force In Unison Gaming, go to streaming Wednesdays every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry for the cheap plug. Keep going, Calones.
But yes, we have 11 pieces of news. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. The first one is GameStop claims an increase in hardware sales mostly credited the strong sales of the Nintendo Switch. They also stated that they have secured the leading market share of Nintendo Switch sales. So is it a surprise that the Nintendo Switch has been selling so good?
Nope. We have talked so much about Nintendo Switch sales in this show that I don't even know what else to say. Switch is selling. Boom, done. Let's go to the next.
Okay. So moving over. EA finally showed FIFA 18 during Gamescom. They had the live gameplay and the game runs at 60 frames per second both when docked and undocked. Also, the game itself will render at 720p undocked and 1080p on the big screen. I did see the gameplay and it looks pretty good, for the game. So your thoughts about the game?
60 frames, 60 frames, 60 frames. Yeah. Now that's good news for the two people that are probably going to buy the FIFA game on the Switch. I'm joking. There may be more who buy the FIFA game on the Switch. But this is good. Again, attractive. You're a huge FIFA fan. You buy it on the Switch. You can take it around. Going to stay 60 frame in portable mode. That's impressive. Maybe EA has some secret sauce somewhere that can really take advantage of the Switch hardware power, right? And then, of course, dock 1080, 60 frames. So that's good news. Good news, my friend. Good news.
Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised, even though it's not the next gen graphics from the PS4 and the Xbox One, the game still looked clean, still was fluid, 60 frames of course, but the graphics were pretty good. Yeah, even handheld, because I did send you some off-camera videos of the Switch screen, and the game looks good. So I think everybody's going to be happy. And the most important part is that all the game modes are going to be included on the game. So it's not like they're cutting corners or anything. Everything will be found on the package. So that's great news.
Yep.
Well, moving on, we have an announcement of 2 more games coming over to the Switch. So Telltale has revealed that Batman and Guardians of the Galaxy will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. There is no release info on those games yet, but it shows that Telltale is finally on board with the Switch. So what do you think of that?
Well, Telltale has been on board a while now because one of the releases for this week is a Minecraft story mode, right? So Telltale, I think, has been on board. They've always been good supporters for the Wii. Well, admittedly though, you know how it is. Telltale puts their games in everything, so it's not like I'm not surprised. But Batman had gotten great reviews. And I know Guardians of the Galaxy not so much, but still good games. I have it on the PS4. I haven't played it yet, so I will probably get playing that game pretty soon. But good news, again, more games to the Switch. And then a Telltale game, again, going back to Switch having that advantage is that it's portable. You start playing at your house. Oh, shit, I have to go to the bus stop to work or whatever. But I want to know what happened to Batman in the game. You take it with you, so.
Yes. So that's going to be very important. Well, yeah, the more games, the merrier. With this season, some companies bring in a single title, but Telltale with this, it confirms that they're really on board with the Switch. So it's not just going to be Minecraft story mode. Telltale, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy and Batman, and hopefully it'll continue with many other games as well. So, well, moving on. This week, Germany, they held Gamescom, and Nintendo actually had great success during the conference, especially Super Mario Odyssey. The game won the best action game, the most wanted game, and the game of the show. Is this a good indication that the Breath of the Wild has some serious competition for Game of the Year?
Yes, Mario. I mean Mario. So it's Mario, right? And I remember when Mario Galaxy came out, it destroyed a lot of, I would call, popular games. Even though Mario is popular, let me clarify. But it destroyed a lot of games that you would have expected who would have won Game of the Year, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Mario Odyssey it's the competition for Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is funny. And of course, your friend here, your friendly neighborhood host, is in total media blackout. So whoever fucker who sends me a picture of Mario Odyssey, I will find you. I will get you. I will hunt you down because that game deserves to be enjoyed without knowing anything. I don't want to know anything, Calones, so don't tell me shit. Just to clarify, but keep going, my friend.
Okay, so well, so everybody's been warned, but yeah, well, repeatedly, you've done it on other podcasts as well. But yeah, moving on, and yeah, coming out of Japan, Splatoon 2 has sold over 1 million copies in Japan. It is
Golf
by
clap.
far the best. Yep, it is by far the best-selling Nintendo Switch game in Japan that and has reached the 1 million copies threshold in just about a month. So how impressive is that?
Uh, impressive, impressive. Splatoon. I'm joking about this, but Splatoon could become Nintendo's Call of Duty. And what I mean with that, I'm not saying that Nintendo will release Splatoon every year like Call of Duty. No, but I could foresee Splatoon coming out every 3 years, where Nintendo keeps pumping them out pretty fast because they can create more maps, they can create more stages, they can create better story mode. Now, Caleones could easily say, well, you can have that as a season pass or as a DLC. Agreed. But I think Nintendo, like any company, they want money, and it's better for them just to sell the whole game again, right? So I could foresee maybe even a Splatoon 3 coming out with all the maps and everything all together with new stuff all in one package. So everybody who hasn't joined Splatoon by Splatoon 3, you can still play everything. So again, great numbers, 1 million sold in Japan for Nintendo. It's all good for Nintendo.
Yeah, and I mean they can very easily do it. Yeah, the first Splatoon on the Wii U came out 2 years ago. I believe it was May 31st of 2015 is when the game came out. So it's just been over a little over 2 years,
That's what I'm
since that
saying.
one. Yep. So, and but the other thing about the game is even and going over to the Call of Duty games. Yes, the multiplayer is similar. Yes, the game comes out every year, but every single game has a unique storyline. So it does have the first like, or the campaign itself is always unique. It's always a new story, and Nintendo could do the same with Splatoon just to make sure that it is fresh. That way, a new game comes out every 2 to 3 years. Yes, it'll have updated maps. It'll have like remade maps from the other games, but at the same time, it's going to offer a new player campaign as well. So that way, always going to be fresh. So
Yep, I agree.
that's
I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo sees the success of Splatoon, and they're gonna
yes.
end up saying there's a lot of dough to be made with this IP for sure. So.
Yes. Well, and going back over to Japan, we had an updated sales number when it comes to their consoles. So this past week, there was a drop on sales for the Nintendo Switch. The Switch sold 22,000 copies, along with the Nintendo 3DS, which sold 34,000. Granted, and I want to be clear, um, Nintendo was, you can say that they were holding out copies to make sure that they were going to be available during the launch of Splatoon 2, and also more than likely, especially with the bundles, now for the release of Monster Hunter Double Cross, which was this week. So, should we be worried about the drop in console sales?
Hell no, no. Whoever's saying that Nintendo is not gonna sell over there in Japan, they're smoking crack probably. And the truth is, that's the main stronghold for Nintendo. I'm saying that I say 2 years tops, and I'm probably extending it too much. They'll overthrow the PS4 as the top console or hybrid, whatever you want to call it, right? So they're fine. Just a week, they're probably the sales, or they couldn't manufacture enough, or like you said, they're holding for launches like Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is gonna be huge. I'm not gonna be surprised if they sell a lot of consoles during Monster Hunter release. So it's nothing at all. I think it's just Nintendo holding up on systems. So
Yeah, and I mean, this is when I wanted to take the time because there's been certain publications that and they were saying, oh, yeah, the Nintendo Switch sales, died down. Oh, like only 22,000 copies were sold, or systems were sold. You got to remember, Japan is a place that they had 3, 4, 5,000 people lining up to go into a lottery to be able to get either two, three, four, 500 units or consoles. So you only had 10% of the people that were going to be able to walk out with a console, and you're going to have 90% of people that didn't. So you have that many people holding out, going out, standing in line, wanting the system, and it drops to 22,000 from almost like 90,000 the previous week. It is not because people are not going out and buying the system. It is because the constraint of available systems because of Splatoon 2, the previous weeks, and Monster Hunter coming out now. Also, Nintendo did say that they, during the holiday season, they expected not to really have that many problems. So I expect that they are also prepping up for, the eventual releases, of course, of, and, Super Mario Odyssey, especially since everybody's crazy with it. So don't worry about it. Everything's fine. It was just that they didn't really have that many
so
available.
so you have to take Caleones. You have to take what people say on the internet with a grain of salt. Everybody exaggerates on the internet. Oh, the Switch sold 22,000. It's over. The Switch is dead. Or oh, the Xbox 360 in the last couple of months, which is the truth, it's been selling like shit. Oh my God, the Xbox is done. It's over. Or oh my God, the PS4 Pro came out. Oh my God, it doesn't have 4K Blu-ray. It's not selling as well. The Slim. Oh, the Pro. It's over. That's just the extreme than the internet just take. I mean, and we'll talk about it in this week's Force In Unison Live, where Microsoft just announced that they sold most of their stock for the Xbox X. So it just shows you that internet just exaggerates. I think the business is healthy. So
Well, then moving along, we have, and this is something we're going to be talking about later on our podcast. They announced the season pass for Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The season pass itself is going to retail for $20, and people will be able to enjoy more weapons, maps, and a new story modes. Coincidentally, or more specifically, there's going to be 8 weapons available at launch with new maps for co-op and campaign released during the holiday and a new story mode released sometime next year. So it seems to be following the same release formula as Breath of the Wild. And so, what are your thoughts on it?
So my thoughts on it is that you're gonna have to wait and go to Onuma's Nintendo discussion later on in this show, where we'll discuss if Season Pass is something good for the industry or is it something good for Nintendo to keep following the blueprint of other companies. So you'll know my thoughts, but if you guys saw my facial impressions there, I'm not happy or I'm not a huge fan of Season Passes, but we'll talk about it later. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, so we had Psyonix has not only confirmed that once more that Rocket League is going to be coming out this holiday season for the Switch, but also revealed that the Switch version is going to get 3 exclusive vehicles. The vehicles are going to be Mario, Luigi, and Samus themed, and that Samus gunship is looking pretty good. So, what do you think of those?
So I don't play Rocket League, but I know a lot of fans of Rocket League like the different vehicles. They have loved the different DLC packs that they have put on there. So I think this is good. The Switch is getting their own exclusive content. And again, Mario Karts, imagine you're driving around with the Back to the Future car and then you're getting your ass kicked by the Mario Kart, right? So you're probably going to be pretty humiliated. So anyway, that's good. Good stuff. I think Psyonix has done a good job in supporting Rocket League, and that's why it's the sensation that it is. So
Yeah, and just to point out that DLC is going to be free, so it's not like you're going to
yep.
have to pay extra for those vehicles. Also, any DLC that has previously been released for Rocket League will be available for the Nintendo Switch version, and of course, those vehicles are not going to be available on any other console because Nintendo's not going to allow that. Same thing as the PlayStation themed vehicles, like the Twisted Metal one. It's going to be for the PlayStation only. The Halo vehicles or Gears of War is going to be for the Microsoft version as well. And the game will feature crossplay between the Xbox, PC, and Nintendo Switch versions. So whenever you have your vehicle and you're playing against a Microsoft console, if you have the Mario vehicles, they're not going to be able to see the vehicle. They're just going to see like a generic vehicle in your place because I mean, as a company, you don't want somebody recording their stream of Microsoft and you see the Nintendo cars running on there. So that's how they're gonna keep it. But
That's
as far
funny.
as the DLC is gonna be free.
Yep, that's good. That's good.
Okay, so now we're gonna be moving on to our ninth news story, and it's gonna be Square Enix has hinted at the possibility of Final Fantasy 15 being on the Nintendo Switch. And before anybody jumps out of excitement, keep in mind that the Final Fantasy 15 game is made with a Luminous engine and would be nearly impossible to be ported over to the Switch. Square Enix did reveal the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition for smartphones and PC,
That's the one you're
and
getting.
this is which is the real possibility that Nintendo Switch is going to be getting. So do you feel like players should be looking forward to Final Fantasy 15 or the Pocket Edition?
The fucking edition, dude. You know that. Come on. There's no way in hell you're getting the main game, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, Final Fantasy, they're doing whatever it takes to sell that game all over. They announced the PC version of it too, so they're gonna be selling it pretty soon on the PC. So, I mean, Square spent a lot of money in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if this game comes out for the PS5, PS6, PS7, PS8, Final Fantasy 15, 40 years later edition. You know, I don't know, whatever. They're gonna sell this motherfucker for a long time because they're still supporting the game. The game is gonna get a multiplayer in pretty soon. They in the season pass again. Why this is why I hate season pass is because I did not enjoy the story to the fullest the first time I played it. The Prompto Gladius has come out, so again, you know they keep adding to the story. So again, I think this game is gonna keep getting supportive. They spend so much money on it, so.
Yeah, I mean, either way, even if it's the Pocket Edition, it's still going to be the full game. So you're still going to be able to experience the full story, and it would still be the first mainline Final Fantasy game released on a Nintendo system since Final Fantasy VI. So it still would be kind of a big deal, even though it's not going to look the same.
Yeah,
But
I mean, but they look cute. I mean, I don't know if you
yeah,
saw the characters. They look cute,
yeah.
chibi
I mean, they,
style. You know.
yeah. I think of it this way: it's like a Final Fantasy 15 Bravely Default Edition. So you can pretty much call it that
Sure.
way.
If it makes you sleep at night, it's all good.
Well, moving on, and something that we kind of touched upon last week, and now we're hearing additional details of it. The developers of Xenoblade had a job posting on the website looking for staff for a brand new project, and they are specifically hiring for action game staff as well as battle planners. Could they be working on a brand new IP, or is this more than likely Xenoblade Chronicles X2 with a Fantasy Star Online type gameplay? What do you think?
My gut feeling is telling me it's a new IP. So here's the funny. I'm gonna make a joke here. Uh, it took Square how many? 10 years to come for Final Fantasy 15 to come out, right?
Well, yeah, it started as Versus, so yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Okay. So during this time, Monolith Soft has come out with Xenoblade Chronicles 1, X, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So Monolith Soft is kind of becoming the Naughty Dogs of RPG in the sense, no, before you kill me, not in the quality or I know other people say Witcher 3 is the best RPG of all time or Ni no Kuni and shit like that, Persona 5, right? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying is the
Well,
Naughty
actually, no,
Dog.
nobody said Nino Kuni. Nobody's mentioned that one as one of the
Hey, fuck you,
top three.
Calones. Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck you. Anyway, so what I was saying is that Naughty Dog has a talent to poop out games really fast. Those guys just like boom, boom, every 2 to 3 years, they're giving you a new game, right? So that's what I'm saying. Monolith Soft is kind of really making games really fast. So I wouldn't be surprised if they split the teams and they have now a team that, to your point, maybe going to be dedicated to an MMO type of game. I think it's the pictures show that it was more fantasy type base of a game. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't mind that. Maybe they can show Squaresoft how to make a damn fantasy-based RPG. Or Square Enix, sorry. You don't deserve the name Squaresoft. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I think X, if it happens, is going to be separately. I think once this team finishes Chronicles 2, they may move to X2, and then this other team will continue work on this game. So long-winded, but my point is that my gut tells me it's a new IP.
Well, I still think the best Square Enix game coming out this year is going to be the ones that are going to be released alongside the Super NES Mini. So.
Yeah, true. Well, again, that's Square stuff. It's not Square Enix, but okay.
Yeah. But moving over to the last piece of news, and it's going to be another game release. So Fear Effect, an PS1 action horror game, has been remade.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's been remade for the Nintendo Switch, and the title is Fear Effect Reinvented. The game will follow the same events from the first game, but do you think such a game, which is a mature title, will be at home on the Switch?
Yeah, sure. Why not? This is what we need to see. We need to have more adult-based games on the Switch. You want to expand your audience. This is a good opportunity to expand your audience for the Switch. So, no issues at all. This is good. Fear Effect, I remember. It's an old PS1 game. It had the old school. The cameras was set, so as you move into the screen, the camera would not move at all. So hopefully the remake will fix all that good stuff from the 90s, I guess. But this game is also coming out, to be fair, on everything. PC, PS4, and Xbox One. But again, this is good because my point to that is that they're considering the Switch moving forward to every port or every game that they're making. So that is good news for Nintendo.
Yeah, they did mention that the game, even though it's probably going to be pretty much intact when it comes to the storyline, it will receive improvements on the graphics, of course, but also on the gameplay. So they understand that when you go back and play the game now, it's kind of limited when it comes to the camera and how the characters move. So that's something that they are improving as well. Hopefully, it'll be just as good as when the original came out and we experienced it the first time, but for today's system. So I'm happy. Hopefully, we're gonna get more of those as well.
Yep, agreed.
And, yep.
Thank you, Calones. That was full-on power from Calones right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Let's move to our next section, which is, of course, if I wanted to know, Calones, what games are coming out for Nintendo? What is our favorite store to go to, Calones?
Well, our favorite store is Shigeru's Mini Market, and with this week's releases, they kind of took a break. It's not as many as the past 2 weeks, so we only have 4 games coming out.
Yep. Go ahead, Calones. What are those 4 games?
Okay, so the 4 games for the system are going to be the Neo Geo Puzzle.
The virtual console for the Switch.
Yeah, we have Forma 8, Pixel Lines DX, and what I consider the game of the week, Minecraft Story Mode: The Complete Adventure. I wanted to say that we went ahead and reviewed the game on our website, shigerunews.com, and the game got an 8.5 out of 10. We said the game does have great character progression. Choices actually are important. It does have a pretty impressive variety when it comes to this decision making and everything. But we did say that sometimes you experience like harsh punishments, and also we did experience some frame rate problems at times during gameplay. Either way, it's been available on other consoles as well. But I'm glad that, like you said, this is one of those telltale games, making it to the system, and they're, taking advantage of it. So, 8.5 out of 10. That's our game of the week.
Yep, I agree with that. I mean, there's nothing else, honestly. So, yeah, I agree with that. That's the game of the week. To clarify, I also played this game. I platted it on the PS4. I'm shameful for that, but it was a fun game. I mean, it had nice decisions and some good action pieces. But it's not my favorite Telltale game at all, not even close. I mean, so, but still, I think 8.5 is fair. So, good job, Calones. Okay.
So, yep, go ahead, take it up.
I guess now, of course, one of my favorite segments of the show, which is when me and Calones go one-on-one and discuss one of the biggest news articles of the week. And I think one of the biggest news articles of the week, of course, is Nintendo and Ubisoft. I think this also comes from Ubisoft, so it's I think it's a shared blame. Let me put it that way. They have decided to put out Season Pass for Mario vs. Rabbids. Of course, I am not a huge fan of Season Passes. In fact, I hate Season Passes. So in the PS3 era, I would always hold on until the game would come out with the complete edition, with the Game of the Year edition, all that shit. So when it was time for me to play the game, I play it to its fullest. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And I'm done with the game. But lately, because I cannot wait to finish Breath of the Wild or Final Fantasy 15 and games like that, I have played the game before even all the content has come out. So it sucks because I'm a gamer that when I play a game, I want to fully enjoy it, fully experience it. And once I'm done, I'm done. And I need to move on. I have a huge backlog of games. I don't want to come back to a game. I am behind as fuck. So, I'm not a huge fan of Season Passes. But, Calones, I did say a little bit of my piece here in Onuma's Nintendo discussion. I forgot to say our segment's name. But, Onuma's Nintendo discussion. Sorry about that. But, Calones, how do you feel about Season Passes? And do you feel there's value added in Mario vs. Rabbids having Season Pass?
I say that actually I do not care at all about season passes. In fact, I actually do welcome them as long as they're not keeping, some of the content locked behind the, that paywall. In this case, in the case of Breath of the Wild as well as Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, it's not something that they're keeping from the game from the beginning and forcing you to pay for it. It's that they're expanding upon it, and that I feel is very important for the longevity of the game. So that way, it will guarantee that the game's not only going to sell when it comes out, but eventually as well, because there's more content coming out. That's one of the reasons why, even though it wasn't something that you paid for, but what helped Splatoon when it came out on the Wii U is that for the first year, it had more weapons, more stages, more modes, coming out regularly, and with Breath of the Wild and Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, there's the promise that you're gonna have additional weapons, campaigns, and modes and storylines, releasing as well. So it's not that you're gonna play the game, you're gonna get to the last chapter, and then it's gonna say locked, can't play until 2018. It's not like that. You're still getting the complete story. It's just more an expanded story, an additional story to the game.
Calones, I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to come back and play the game again. Look, I've been trying to get the plat on Hellblade. It's a short game. That's a 6 to 7 hour game. If I played 3 hours in the last week because of my work, it's killing me lately. It's and all the house renovations that we've been doing. It's just I don't have the time, and I just want to come have the full experience like we used to be. When you bought a game, Calones, on the Super NES, what you did? You buy it once, right? Did the game have everything in there? When you bought a game on the NES, did you bought it once? They had all the content in there, right? Same for N64, GameCube, and all that, right? And again, maybe I'm sounding like an old fart. I am an old fart. I admit it. I can barely walk anymore. My balls, I'm continuously tripping over my balls. So what I'm saying with that is that I understand that maybe I am out of touch. To your point, you bring a good point. Season Pass extends the lifespan of a game. Yes, I'm not denying that. People then doesn't trade the game in there, which is kind of what the Season Pass is fighting for. And games are more expensive to make. I understand all that. I'm just asking that if you are planning to bring more content, just put it all together. Delay the game a little bit more. But again, I'm being selfish. I want to play the game. And it's my job, if I feel that strongly, that to wait for the game, right? This is what I typically done. Let me see. I'll show you guys. Look at this. One of the greatest masterpieces of all time. Look at that. Uncharted 2. Right there. What does it say right there, Calones? Game of the Year edition. So I waited a whole fucking year, right, to play the game when I had all the content with it. So It's again, it's my role. Let me see another one that I have here. Let me see if I find it. Look at this, Batman Arkham City, right there. What it says there, Game of the Year edition. Because again, I waited for everything came out, and I don't have a Game of the Year edition, but the Arkham Knight game for the PS4, I waited until the season pass had released everything, and then I'll play it. Right. So yeah, if I want it that way, it's my role to wait. But I have to admit, there's some games that I can't, like Breath of the Wild. Well, I was gonna wait a whole fucking year to play probably one of the best Zelda games of all time. Hell no. If Final Fantasy 15, I waited 10 years for the game, and then when I bought the game and reserved it, they announced the season pass. And I was like, shit. But again, it was my decision that I could have waited, but I didn't wait it. So Uncharted 4, why did I play it and did not wait? What? Because people fuckers were saying around online that Nathan Drake had died, right? So I was like, no, I don't want to get spoiled, because then there's fucking spoilers. Oh, you cannot wait, because there's fucking spoilers all over the place. Last of Us, I waited until all the content was released, and thank God nothing got spoiled for me. But with this day and age, you run the risk of the game being spoiled, so that makes my decision even harder, right? So again, I'm sounding old fart. I am an old fart, but I'm not a huge fan of season passes.
Well, I mean, but that's in your case, that's your decision, and I'm glad that companies do have, like, the Game of the Year editions or definitive editions, so they can collect all those Game Passes. It makes it easier for people to have it in one package. But at the same time, you have, and this is something that you touched upon, the budget for video games has increased dramatically from how they were like 20, 30 years ago. But the game prices have stayed pretty much the same. Even when you had cartridges, they still would retail at around $50 or so.
80
During
sometimes.
Well, yeah, but depending on I guess how the cartridge tax that they had back then. But during the PS1 era, games would be around like $50, because of the CD format. But yeah, right now they're all 59.99, and that's something that has not changed. So not since we're keeping the game prices at around the same, game companies, they got to find a way to make additional money, and it's going to be either selling millions of more copies than they did before, because the price is still the same. It's still 59.99. It's not going up, but at the same time, you have this game engine that you have worked for years. You have all these assets that you have been working on for years, and then you're just going to release it in one single game and throw it all away. So the best thing that they have is, because they have all of this to work with, they don't have to worry about like having to create a new engine or anything. They can just use all the existing assets and just expand on the story. So when they plan on the game, they create the Bible. They have the storyline that they're going to tell. They have everything that they want to do by the end of it. They do that, but along the way, they have even more ideas for more stories, characters, and things like that. And by having the season passes, it actually affords them the opportunity to add more to the game without having to worry about creating something from scratch. So that's something that they have available to them.
So, okay, and I'll go with your point. As long as the story feels complete, fine.
Yes,
Final
that's important.
Fantasy 15 did not feel complete at all. That game is a mess if you play it without the extra content. I haven't played it with the extra content. I want to see how the game improve on the story, if any, because the story, trust me, on Final Fantasy 15 it feels really incomplete, really bad. So, not a bad game. I'm just saying that it could have been better. I played Arkham Knight, right? I waited for everything. Arkham Knight is more enjoyable when I had everything on there, because I played also the extra villains that would showed up in Arkham Knight, like Croc and the Ra's al Ghul. Those story sequences in Arkham Knight made the game even better, right? If I would have played it that way and then come back later to it, my impressions of Arkham Knight would have been differently, probably. So my point is, I think, agree to disagree, but I'm okay what you're saying if the story feels complete and it's just like maybe what Breath of the Wild is doing. I'm okay with that. It is a story after the quest ended, right? It is an addition to the story. So they're not fixing or adding plot holes like Final Fantasy 15 did. So, as long as the story feels complete, I'm okay. But if the story feels incomplete, I just can't agree. Calones, it just feels bad playing a game like that for me. Anyway.
Yeah, I think we can make that specific distinction. If it's like I said, if it's something that they're forcing you to get it just so you can get here, get there, experience this, and something that you know that should be part of the main storyline, yes, that's wrong, and I don't advocate for something like that. But if it's using the assets that you have just to like tell, expand the storyline, like be in, yeah, spend more time in that world, then I'm all for it. So, like you said, for Breath of the Wild, it seems like Nintendo is doing it the right way because I mean, the game they worked on it for what it seems like 5 years. It is an I mean enormous world, and it's something that I mean, it would be wrong for them to be able to just throw it away, have to start all over again. So I'm glad that they're able to continue from there to expand and to for us especially, it is one of the best gaming experiences of all time. So I'm glad that we're able to go back into it for something addition to it, and not because they wouldn't give us all from the very beginning. So that's what's important, and that's I believe something that we can agree on. As long as we have the complete story and they don't cut anything out to force you to buy something else, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Again, I think as you guys saw, I hate season passes. Caleones are all for it. But we did came on into agreement. If the story is complete, then fine. If the story is incomplete, then that's not good. People like me, we're busy. We're adults. We got lives. I got to move on, kids. I have to move on to different games. So, anyway, Caleones, let's end this show today. Like always, it's always been fun to spar with you. I know tonight, Mayweather and McGregor, right? So, who you
Well,
got?
who you got? Okay.
I said it
Well,
first. You fucker. I
okay.
said it first. So.
Well, I'm gonna say Mayweather better win because if not, that's gonna be a black guy on boxing. I used to practice boxing and I love boxing, and for an MMA fighter to come in and beat a boxer like that, it's gonna be bad. So hopefully Mayweather's gonna win.
I don't like Mayweather, so I don't give a shit. I don't like Mayweather, so if McGregor gets a couple of good licks in there, I'll be a happy camper. Like my man Kondo. Kondo went in there. I thought Kondo was one of the best fights that gave to Mayweather because Mayweather came out there looking a little bit rough for sure.
Well,
But
he made him bleed, so
yeah,
he did okay.
yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, Kondo couldn't win, but. Again, I don't like Mayweather. I don't like how he fights. I'm more of a person that likes knockouts and shit like that. Mayweather seems to fight like. So anyway, sorry about if I piss off any Mayweather fans out there. But let's end this show. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Get In, Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 13. Every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy motherfuckers happy. Also, please remember that if you don't want to see our ugly faces, it's all good, right, Calion? It's all good because we got a solution for you. You can go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can give us some love, baby. Also, we have a small Facebook page called at Force In Unison Gaming, where you can get fun stuff like the glitch of the week. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, thank you again. Long live Nintendo. See you, everybody.
Have a great one, everyone.